Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Business Today Television. Let's look at how the markets are behaving as far as the last half hour of trade is concerned. Remember, it's an event-heavy day today. We already have the Bank Nifty's weekly expiry, as also there is a global event slated for today on Wall Street, which is the US Federal Reserve's outlook on how the state of play of the US economy, as also interest rates will pan out in the coming quarters as well. The Nifty in front of you right now, Bank Nifty down 165 points, 42,681 in front of me. The Nifty at 19,000. This is the range where the bulls and the bears are at the moment battling it out, down 72 points. This is a crucial support level, both as far as the options chain is concerned for the Nifty, which expires tomorrow. We are on T-1 for Nifty futures and on the weekly expiry for Bank Nifty. So as far as Nifty futures are concerned, 19,000 is a very crucial level for bulls to defend. Let's see how the next half an hour pans out. But for the moment, this is the structure of the market. The Nifty down 0.4% at about 19,010. Let's look at the top movers in this space. The weakness is mainly on account of the two banks. Axis Bank down 1% at about 972. We are looking at the index heavyweights here. Kotak Bank down 0.7%, 1726. Earnings that came in from the markets for L&T. Down about 1.2%, 2896. This is how the heavyweights are stacked up on the downside. But it's the big boy Reliance which is actually pulling the index higher, 0.6% up, 2302. At the moment, this is the top gaining stock as far as the index is concerned. 0.6% translates to about 14 rupees. And it trades at 2302 in the cash markets. We have gains on State Bank of India and ITC. And apart from that, all the other 8 index heavyweights are in the red. HDFC Bank down 0.25% at about 1472. Overall, we see the Nifty trending lower at about 19,010 at the moment. Apart from the Nifty, let's start pay attention to F&O market. We've seen very strong moves coming into stocks such as Birlasoft. Remember, if you were with us in the morning, this was the second most important stock that we had discussed. Now 574.90. It's the top gaining counter within the IT space in the F&O sector. Up 5%, about 1 crore 19 lakh shares on Birlasoft have been traded, and this is coming after a very strong set of earnings for this particular company. So a record closing high on Birlasoft is what we are looking at, and this stock was discussed right at the beginning of 9:15. Apart from Birlasoft, you see very strong gains within the F&O space coming into stocks such as Indus Star, up about 4.7% at 180.6. Strong gains on Vedant, 3% higher at about 223.80. BPCL and HPCL both in the gains after the government had cut windfall tax on diesel sales. So BPCL up 2.2%, 356.85, and HPCL following suit at 251.75. up 1.6%. These are the gainers in the F&O space. We'll take a look at the losers too. A strong move on the downside coming on Jindal Steel and Power. The earnings disappointed investors. The counter being the top loser on the F&O space, down about 7%. 587.95 is what I see in front of me. And about 1 crore 10 lakh shares have been traded on Jindal Steel and Power, down about 7%. This is the top loser in the F&O space today, followed by Ambuja Cement and India Cement, down respectively 3.5 and 3.9% on both counters. Selling pressure also seen on Petronet LNG for the second day in a row. This is a counter that's in pain. It was the top loser yesterday, down about 9-10%, and the sales at the moment continuing to disappoint. Also in the red is the entire cement pack. We had discussed Ambuja and India Cement. It's ACC also down. Let's look at some good news. Stocks that are hitting all-time highs, and within the F&O space there are two: Trent and Persistent. Let's look at stocks which are hitting 52-week highs. We had just discussed Birla Soft in great detail, 574.20, up about 4.85%. DLF at a 14-15 year high. This breakout stock from the realty space is doing pretty well. 1 crore 1 lakh trades shares traded so far on DLF and up 2%. This is a fresh 52-week high on the counter. And of course, there's no stopping Persistent Systems at about 6,205. This is a fresh record high. Let's look at volume buzzers, stocks which are rising or falling on very, very strong volumes despite a very tepid market in the Nifty and the Bank Nifty space. Let's not look at Birla Soft, but the volume today, which is of 1 crore 20 lakh shares, is about 6.9 times the 5-day average. So this is something you need to look at. If it closes at such levels, which are of course record highs, then you'll see a breakout happening on subsequent days. Apart from Birla Soft, the other stocks which are gaining substantially with very heavy volumes are Relaxo, 948 rupees for you, 5.5% higher, and about 4,73,000 shares traded for this footwear company, where about 5.7 times the 5-day average. Other interesting counters are let me just show you something really exciting. It's Idea Cellular, 12.75 rupees in front of you, up 8%. Hold your breath. 90 crore 62 lakh shares have been traded, which are about 3.9 times the 5-day average. So this is what is happening, and some sort of disappointment creeping in Star Health. This is a very well-known insurer, down about 5.3% at about 549 rupees. Earnings disappointed, 4.8 times the value of traded shares, which are roughly 12.4 lakh shares. So this is how the broader markets are placed. In terms of how the other indices are doing, we track 19 of them, and there are only 4 indices that are green, starting with the Nifty Realty Index. You would have guessed DLF being the top gainer. The Nifty Realty Index is up 1.75% at 613.55, and the Pharma Index and the Nifty PSU Index are the other minor gainers. The remaining 16 indices are in the red, and the top losing index is the Nifty Metals Index, mainly led by a very sharp downfall in Jindal Steel and Power, which was down about 7.5% after that dismal second quarter earnings as far as the performance of the stock is concerned. Let's also shift focus to the F&O space. There are some stocks that I wanted to mark apart from the cash things that we had discussed. Well, we are on the weekly expiry of the Nifty, and let's look at the weekly performance of how stocks have stacked up for this particular index in terms of gainers and losers. It'll take me a minute to rustle up these data. For the moment, just see Jindal Steel on your screen. Yes, I have the weekly gainers and losers. Well, let's look at BPCL. This is up 5%, 5.3% to be precise on a weekly basis, 357.85. This was a very, very sharp uptick that has happened. This is the intraday chart in front of you, but if you see a longer picture chart, you'll see the stock had actually been on the downside, and over the last 1 week it's appreciated somewhere like 5.3%. Cipla, blowout earnings, very, very strong quarterly performance, and of course the overhang that we see on Cipla in terms of a potential transaction in the offing, in which a large chunk of the majority control, the majority owner is likely to be purchased. HCL Tech is doing pretty well, up 2.6% on a weekly basis, 1263. Remember, this was a top pick by Milleen today in the morning. For the moment, trading about 1.5% lower. Of course, index heavyweight Reliance Industries and State Bank of India, both of them up 2.3, 2.4% respectively. Which are the stocks that are losing ground? Disappointment on fertilizer stock UPL, down about 8%. This stock has been in pain over an extended period of time, and at the moment at 534, it's down about 8% over the last 1 week. Profit booking happening on Mahindra and Mahindra. Higher crude oil prices mean that paint companies will be in pain. Therefore, Asian Paints down about 3.8% over the week at about 29.50. So these are the changes that you see as far as the Nifty is concerned. Remember, it's the weekly expiry. Let's just shift a bit of focus on how the options chain are performing as far as the Nifty is concerned. Remember, we'll now begin a fresh expiry tomorrow on the Nifty options chain, it being T-1 for this particular index. I just wanted to see how the index levels are slated in terms of support and resistance. This is taking a time to load, but the cash counter is at about 19,008, down about 46 points, 19,002 in front of me. Let the system load and then we'll get back to it. But a pretty, how should I say, sideways trend in the market when you look at both the broader indices, mainly account of what the event is on Wall Street. The market's in a pause mode and waiting for the US federal statement on where the interest rates are headed. At the moment, you will see that a pause is baked into prices. The overall market in the US has corrected very sharply over the last 1 month or so. There are 2 or 3 reasons behind that. One of them is, of course, the kind of pain that we are seeing in the US bond yield. The 10-year yield is now around 4.95%, which is the highest level in the past 16 years. The last time we saw this price was in November 2007 when the global financial meltdown crisis began. So that's where the US markets stand at the moment in terms of the 10-year yield, and that's resulted in a very sharp correction in all the 3 major indices, which is the Dow Jones Index, the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. All of them are down about 10% from their all-time highs in terms of how the correction has started on Wall Street. So you need to look at that picture as well before we read into great detail the US Federal Reserve statement on where the economy could go. I think the Nifty options chain is in front of me. Just a moment please. Let's see whether it loads or not. I just want to see in the last 15 minutes how the support levels are coming. No such luck. Oh, of course, here it is. Okay. So a fresh support is coming in at 18,900 level as far as the Nifty is concerned. Remember, these supports last exactly for a minute when the selling pressure starts to increase. But this is where the put concentration is. The 18,900 put for November 2nd is trading 28 rupees, up 8.8 rupees, and a very strong addition in open interest, about 24.72 lakhs. Apart from that, you see some strong support coming in at 18,850. In terms of resistance, well, 19,100 looks unbreakable, and at the moment some strong resistance also getting built up on 19,050. There is unwinding of calls at 19,250, which essentially shows that bulls know that 19,250 is not coming, so you might as well sell the call there. That call is now priced 3 rupees. It was at 21 rupees in the morning, so you can well see how options work. Let's look at some other stocks which are doing pretty well on the Nifty. Today's top gainer seems to be Sun Pharmaceutical Industries, up 2.4% at about 1114. That's the price that I see, and the volumes here are about 35 lakh shares as of now, and the counter at a fresh 52-week high for the moment. That's how Sun Pharma is stacked up. So it's a defensive market, as you can make out. We've discussed BPCL in pretty good detail, and apart from that, you are seeing some strong moves coming in on HDFC Life. The counter at about 620.6 is up 0.3%. These are not great gains because, like I said, the broader markets are showing better moves, and the Nifty and its constituents are in a sideways zone ahead of the main event. What are the top losers? Okay, just give me a moment. Let me just sort these out in a manner which makes sense to us. Just a moment, please. Okay, this is a new software for me. Okay, Adani Enterprises down 3.3% at 22.17. This is a multi-month low for the counter. Profit booking happening in a very serious manner on Coal India at 306.80, down about 2.4%. About 90 lakh shares have been traded so far. Sales happening on SBI Life Insurance at about 13.35. The counter is down about 2.5%. And Asian Paints, Adani Port, Tata Steel, JSW Steel. These are stocks that are bleeding in today's market. This is how the Nifty is. Let's look at some other stocks where you see some good activity happening. Let's shift to the Nifty PSU banking space. If you remember the early morning conversation that we had on how markets are likely to behave, the PSU banking sector was raised as a sector where you'd see some spotlight coming in on the gain side. Today's top gainer is Indian Bank at 431.55. The counters up 2.7%. Fairly strong moves coming in here. Let me just rustle up some more data on this particular aspect. I just want to see whether there's a volume breakout on these or not. Okay, let's look at Indian Bank. Not even one time data coming up. So it's only SBI that's rising on more than average volumes. SBI up 0.3%, nothing much to say, 566.30. So that's a bit of an issue. But Bank of India is up about 2.2% at 98 rupees, and you see Union Bank gaining 1.3% at 103.05. Let's look at the high beta space. These are stocks that rise faster than the market and they fall faster than the market too. Today we had discussed CDSL. This is Central Depository Services Limited. This was the first stock that we discussed, and it is really raised very sharply, 2.8% higher, 14.97. The early morning price was somewhere like 15.22, so you can see a bit of profit booking happening. But again, this is a stock that's moving towards its all-time highs of about 1700 rupees. Very strong moves coming in on CDSL today, followed by if we can see the stock price of Angel One. This is a broking company which is run up fairly sharply. So this is how the markets are structured as far as the last 14-15 minutes of trade are concerned. The Nifty flat, down about 0.3% at 19,000. This is, remember, T-1 for the index. It's slipping a bit, 0.5% lower now, 18,980. The Nifty Bank on weekly expiry day down about 141, 42,705. That will be all, ladies and gentlemen, as far as the market wrap is concerned. We'll remain glued to the screen, and we'll meet you tomorrow morning with more ideas, more stock briefs and more news. Stick along.